I feel like I am taking this massive, deep breath, like an energetic, deep breath, and receiving a massive certain level of calm right now. I have had a few nights, 3 nights specifically, over the past week where I have had severe mental breakdowns and just felt this intense and deep, deep level of heartbreak. One of them I think had to do with some recent things in my life, but honestly probably has to do with a recurring emotion and feeling of deep rejection and fear, just revisiting this deep rejection wound. And to be honest, the other two things that I felt deep pain around were kind of similar, but absolutely based on old relationship trauma, old relationship pain. And I think going through these loops of revisiting these deep emotional wounds have felt so re-traumatizing that I kind of entered into a little bit of a paranoid episode. I could tell that I was kind of going into this. Some things triggered me over the past month and has been kind of leading into this. And I've talked a little bit on past videos about my struggle with psychosis and severe paranoia, social anxiety, distrust. And recently, a lot of those have been popping back up. And I'm very grateful that I'm aware that this is something that I struggle with at times. Having the awareness doesn't necessarily make it any easier, but it does allow me to have more of an open heart and an open mind to being wrong about certain things that I am convinced that are often based in old wounds and major trust issues. And last night was one of the nights that I had one of these really severe mental breakdowns, and I woke up this morning just feeling kind of a deep sadness and ache and like this revisiting fear. I don't fully know how to explain it, but it's like my spirit just forced me to rebalance energetically, and I just came out of it. There is still absolutely, I think, a little bit of lingering pain, but it's like my body and my mind and my heart were just like, I've had enough. And thankfully, I had a couple positive interactions today that I think really encouraged my heart as well. And I just came out of it, and I just feel like I'm taking this huge, energetic, deep breath and looking at life in this whole new way again, and I'm so grateful for it. If you are somebody who struggles with bipolar or psychosis and paranoia, and you are aware of these things, perhaps you understand what I'm going through right now. I am so beyond grateful, though, that I am back to feeling a level of deep peace about a lot of things in my life. I think over the past year, really, one of the focuses in my life has been becoming so aware of these deep wounds that I've carried with me that I am obviously still healing. And guys, I just want to say I believe in miraculous healing. I absolutely do. But I think for a lot of us, when you have deep emotional wounds, sometimes they take time to process. And recently, I actually started reading this book. Let me see if I can find it. I got this from the library, guys. It is called Living in the Heart by Drunvalo Melchizedek. And it has a lot to do about entering into your heart space and activating your Merkaba. Um, it's a book on energy healing and healing the planet, healing yourself. And I have been reading it really slowly. I think that this is one of the most influential books I've ever read. I don't really read a lot. I don't really read fictional novels anymore. I tend to stem towards books like this that are quite a bit smaller, that have an astounding effect. Another book that I would highly recommend if you are interested is The Untethered Soul, and I believe it's by Michael Singer, but I could be wrong about that. That is one of the first books, as well as, okay, there's another one, Paranoia, is another book that I read. These are books that have had an astounding effect on my life, and this book I'm reading right now, Living in the Heart, goes into teaching you how to enter into your heart space and living from that place inside of your heart. And I just finished a section where he's talking about how sometimes when people would do this meditational exercise at events that he'd throw, that there would be like half of the people that would experience nothing. And after doing this many times, he realized that a lot of these people were entering into their heart space, but because they had deep emotional wounds, the pain was too much, and they basically didn't want to continue forward, so they backed up out of it. That's kind of where I'm at. I think he's gonna possibly go in a little bit about, I don't know, maybe he won't go into like how to deal with that, but later on, after talking to people about it, he got more people to be able to enter into their heart space by just having that kind of awareness and realization that what was going on is they were touching on these deep emotional wounds and they were afraid to, basically. To be honest, these severe mental breakdowns that I started experiencing happened after I started reading this book and doing the meditational exercises. And I think that sometimes when you are learning to open your heart and live from your heart more deeply and expand that part of yourself, like he says, it can touch on some deep emotional wounds when you are still carrying those, and it can often trigger deep fucking pain, and it doesn't always feel good until you move through that. And I think that these meditational exercises made me feel very good, but at the same time, I think that connecting with my heart and opening it to such a degree was bringing up all of this intense old stuff. And on top of that, I'm on my period. Period is a season of purging for those with ovaries and the ability to have a period. It is a huge purging time, and I get very emotional. Recently, over the past 5 months or so, my periods have been much more stable for me emotionally, and this one has been very, very, very intense. Along with these meditations that I've started doing where I am working on my heart more deeply, it has just pulled up so much. And like I was saying, over the past year, I have just become more and more aware of how many deep wounds I have been carrying with me, and just how deeply certain things still affect me. And I'm just becoming aware of these things, aware of the paranoia and distrust and why I feel that and why it's feeding into my other relationships in my life, where it comes from. And yeah, guys, it has just been a really intense roller coaster over like the past week, I want to say. My whole life kind of feels like a crazy roller coaster. If you've been along for my journey and watched more of my videos, you probably already know this. But goddamn, right now, while I feel this ache still in my heart, I feel like it is like I have to go through it in doses, and perhaps I need to be around a support system or just give my space to move slowly through these deep wounds. I'm still learning proper ways in doing it that are not just going to re-traumatize. But I do consistently find that the more that I am healing those wounds, the more easily and quickly I come back out of it and come with a deeper understanding and a deeper ability to love others as well as myself without just looking at everything through the eyes of a wounded woman or child. So this has been very self-empowering, but still definitely some ache in my heart, and I am just trying to be very gently moving through these pains and learning how to release them. I tend to just cry them out really intensely, and sometimes there can be a little bit of a lingering, but I always end up coming out of it and entering into this deeper space of love, and I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, where it's not this overwhelming love, like sweet, I don't know, sweet serenity, feeling just like on cloud nine. But I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I finally entered back into this state of just peace and calm. And I'm so grateful for that right now. After this very intense emotional roller coaster, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. My heart is gonna be okay. I think that I got kind of wrapped up in this a little bit of a negative loop where I kind of shared with you guys that I was afraid, and then I was like, oh, well, now I have no more fear. And then it's kind of been this like back and forth between fear and just like absolute trust and believing in myself. And over the past week, I kind of dipped a little bit more into that fear cycle, that fear energy where I just started feeling like I was just backtracking. And this happens, guys, and it's alright even if you do backtrack at times. This is one of the aspects of life. Sometimes when it feels like you are going backwards, you aren't. You are just possibly feeling, and perhaps, I don't know, if it's a relapse, you are always still going to move forward even more when you take your power back from that situation and continue moving. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like I felt like I was slipping back into this fear and this energy of looking at myself like I am incapable and pathetic and just have these mental health issues, and oh, well, after this you're not going to be able to provide for yourself and you're just going to be that fucking trash homeless chick again. And these are literally kind of like the energies that have been around me and I've been cycling back into. And today it was just like I don't even feel like it was completely necessarily me taking back my power. I feel like my power was given back to me. And I don't I don't know, that sounds weird. Maybe you fucking relate to that feeling sometimes, where I am all about empowerment, taking your power back when you are in a state of anxiety or fear, cutting energetic cords and calling back your energy and your power to yourself. And I generally, that is how I kind of help to create my own sense of self-empowerment. But today was just different. It just felt like perhaps this is divine intervention, guys, which I also believe in. I genuinely believe that we have spirit guides, that there are angels all around us. I believe very strongly that the universe is conspiring in my favor. That is the concept of paranoia. The opposite of paranoia, which is so fun because paranoia is something that I've so deeply struggled with. And one of the greatest healing tools for if you are struggling with paranoia is trust. Is to have faith that you are protected, that you are going to be okay. Whether things that you believe or see are true, having faith that you are loved, that you are protected, that you are divinely guided, and that you are going to be taken care of and provided for. That the universe, the spirit, the God loves you and is going to take care of you. You're gonna be all right. I feel like that energy was just planted on top of me and around me today. As if something stepped in and said, that's enough. That's enough. And just like cut some fucking energetic cord, just cut out this intense paranoid cycle, the demons that were fucking beating at me, and just was like, that's enough. Charisse, you're free. Charisse, you're not backtracking just because you're feeling heavy, deep things. Look at how far you've come. And this isn't just me speaking to myself, this is me speaking to whoever is watching this that needs to hear this. You are doing so much better than you think that you are, and you've come a long ways. And perhaps nobody knows just how far you've come as much as you do. And that's alright if people don't recognize that. I actually find that there are people in my life right now who barely know me, who still recognize how far I've come. And that is such a beautiful blessing, and I am so fucking grateful for that right now in my life. And I hope that if that is also something that you long for, or perhaps you don't even long for it because you didn't even know that was capable of happening, that you also connect with people who see you. Who see you. Who see the real you. Who see how far you've come. Even if they don't know your whole story. We all deserve to be seen clearly for all the love that we have. Just the same as we deserve to see clearly all the love that is around us. I think one thing that I often have gotten caught in is this cycle and this thing of not realizing just how loved I am. I think because of how strong the distrust and certain emotional wounds, betrayal wounds, rejection sensitivity, how strong that can be. There are times where I just lose track and I just stop seeing how loved I am by the people in my life. How much I'm still chosen. I can get wrapped up in this thought of people secretly hate me or blah blah blah, and while sometimes that might be true, the love is so much greater. I almost guarantee that you are so much more loved than you realize. By the people that you know that love you, and probably even by people that you don't know love you. Perhaps even by the people who you genuinely feel don't love you. You're loved, and you're doing a lot better than you think that you are. And I'll say it one more time, that just because you feel like you are backtracking does not mean that you are. Sometimes it is simply just a feeling. It's the emotion of this. Sometimes it's not actually what's happening, but it feels like it. Perhaps you have deep emotional wounds that are triggered and you feel like you are in a dark night of the soul or a depressive episode, paranoid episode like myself, and you just feel this fear of like going back to your old self, like all the progress you've made has been for nothing and like it's all over now and you're just being pulled back into this state that you've worked so hard on setting yourself free from. I want to tell you, you are doing better than you think you are. And this is one of my favorite concepts, is that sometimes when it feels like you're being pulled back, the universe is about to slingshot you forward. And I think that is a great concept to hold. When you feel like you're backtracking, just know that you're about to be shot fucking forward. And don't give up hope on yourself. Don't fucking give up. Don't stop believing in yourself. And if you do have those moments like I've had recently where perhaps you stop believing in yourself just a little bit, or you entered into those old emotional cycles and wounds, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And something amazing is about to happen for you. I genuinely believe that. And I have just been beaten down by life at times. And I have been in an intense season of chaos where it has been one fucking thing after another. And in my mental breakdowns lately, I have been begging the universe for mercy. I have just been begging for mercy because my heart has just been put through the meat grinder of life. And when I revisit those old wounds, I am just like, I cannot do this anymore. And even with that, guys, I recognize that there are some massively beautiful things that are still happening in my life. And sometimes you just have this deep feeling, even if it goes against what appears to be happening in your life, that something beautiful is about to happen. Not just about to happen, that something beautiful is happening right now. Something massively life-changing and beautiful is in the works. And I want to affirm that for you too. That if you are in this slumped energy, like I've been for a minute, something good is about to happen. You're about to come right back out of it, and you are going to be even stronger than before. And I know some of us are like, fuck being stronger, life needs to stop proving that I'm resilient. Stop trying to make me stronger, life. I get it. Maybe not exactly what you're going through, but I get that kind of feeling, and you're gonna be alright. And you might not always appreciate it now, what we're going through, but I do find that there are certain things that have made me stronger, more confident, feel more capable because of some of the very, very, very difficult things that I've been through. Even times like now where it's just like constantly being shot with thing after fucking thing after thing, and it feels like it's just been breaking me down in so many ways. I'm also being shown how fucking capable I am. And I'm learning very valuable lessons. As much as I don't necessarily enjoy them to the fullest right now, there are absolutely certain things that I've been through that have taught me to be the woman that I am now, that I have to look back on and be grateful as fuck that I went through that I learned that. I am one of the strongest women that I know. Even though it might not always look like it in certain ways, and when I'm having those breakdowns, and through certain people's perspectives, I am strong as fuck. And it can hurt sometimes to be that strong, but it is also very self-empowering. I am able to love the people in my life more deeply because of the things that I've been through. As weird as that may be, because some people choose an opposite route. Some people choose a deep path of hate after all this stuff that they've been through. And I'm grateful that I haven't. Perhaps at times I did. But I'm so grateful that I get to be here sharing a message of love and hope with people, because I feel like a lot of you need to hear that, because I know I need to hear that. That's going to be it for today, guys. I did not introduce myself at the beginning. My name is Sharice. Please do like and subscribe if you would like to be along for my wild, wonderful journey. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful for anybody who's a new part of this little video community, as well as for everybody who's been here for a while. Thank you guys so much for helping me grow and my channel to grow. And so, yeah, I love you and I believe in you. And I hope that you have an absolutely amazing and beautiful day.